Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is episode 12 of the first season of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today, we interview Paul Merrell. Paul is the father of Vanessa and Veronica Merrell, the Merrell Twins. In addition to his daily dad joke series on YouTube, he has shot and edited the Merrell Twins videos. His role now is shifted into that of an executive producer. Watch their videos every Twin Tuesday. I am joined today by Paul Merrell. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
You are a unique guest in the sense of you have your own social media presence.
Okay.
You have 24,000 Twitter followers.
Do I really?
Yes, you do.
I didn't know that.
You have 14,000 YouTube subscribers, and that was met with a nod, and then 46,000 Instagram followers.
Yes.
And you're also the father of Vanessa and Veronica Merrell.
Correct.
The Merrell Twins.
The Merrell Twins, yeah.
And they have a few more followers than you.
Just a few more.
Just a few more. Their main channel has 3.7 million YouTube subscribers. The Merrell Twins Live has 283,000, and More Merrell has 570,000. Their Instagram accounts are at 1.3 and 1.4 million.
That's crazy. It's a lot.
It's a lot of numbers. So I want to ask you about your own social media presence, and then I want to ask you about the role that you play in your daughter's social media.
Sure.
So first, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Where are you from originally?
We're originally from Kansas City.
Are you born and raised
born
in the
and raised
Midwest?
in Kansas City. Yeah, go Chiefs. Sorry if you're a Rams fan. Go Chiefs. But
Go Chiefs, yeah. And you now live in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. When did you move?
We moved about 6 years ago.
Why did you move?
Well, we got to the place where the girls were doing some modeling and some acting and they were making their own home movies and things like that, and they really wanted to try to make it in the entertainment business. And we realized that there was no way you were going to be able to do it from Kansas City. The opportunities were here. So we literally, once we felt like the girls were like, yeah, this is something we really want to do, and they were committed to it, we said, all right, let's take a risk. Let's move. And we sold everything, sold my boat, which was very disappointing, but sold my boat.
So wait a second. You're in Kansas City with a boat, and you sell it when you come to Los Angeles with an ocean.
Yes, with an ocean, right. Well, we could. The truth is we knew that we were going to have to move into a different economy. I mean, cost of living is so much more expensive out here. So we streamlined everything, sold everything. I had a small production company in Kansas City. We got rid of our studio space and just moved out, and I commuted back and forth for a while. But we knew that if we didn't move, we were going to regret it the rest of our lives. You got to go find out. You just got to go. What's the worst that could happen? You fail and just come
back to Kansas City.
Right.
And you have to watch the Chiefs.
Watch the Chiefs, which I do that anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So now in Kansas City, you had a production company.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of production company?
We did a variety of things, but mostly it was corporate production for like training and promotion of their new products and things like that internally. And then we also did a lot of sales meetings for these companies. And so during these sales meetings, we would produce opening sketches and things like that. We mostly would do a lot of like graphics and 3D design, but we would do these opening sketches with CEOs and to
liven things up
and loosen things up and open the whole event. And so that's kind of my background. And then we did some music production and things like that. So yeah, just many different hats.
You are a guitar player.
I am.
How long have you done that?
Since I was 12.
And your daughters are also musically inclined.
Yes, they are.
Did you teach them, or did they just pick it up?
They at an early age they were harmonizing and singing, and we were like, "Do you want to? You like music?" They were singing all the time, and at 5 years old, we said, let's do it right. I'm self-taught. I was like, let's do it right. Let's get you guys in classical training and piano. We'll start with piano, the fundamentals. Because I started with guitar, and then I started playing a little piano to try and get music theory and all that stuff, and it was just a bigger struggle. But everything relates from piano to guitar and all other instruments. So they were classically trained for, I think we did that 8 years. They played piano, and then they moved on. In the middle of that, Veronica started playing guitar, violin. Vanessa started playing bass and the cello in the middle of all of that. So they kind of mess around with everything. It's really kind of fun. Christmases are fun because we get out and play a bunch of Christmas carols together with violin and cello. So,
at what point did your daughters express an interest in YouTube?
It's interesting because they didn't really express an interest until I brought it up to them and said, let's do something together. But early on, they started watching this guy named Ryan Higa. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ryan Higa, but just a funny Asian guy. And they would be downstairs laughing and watching these videos, and I go down, these are the worst productions I've ever seen. Why are you guys watching this stuff?
Yeah.
And this was 2006 or so when they were doing that. And then as I researched YouTube as just, kind of the business model was coming up, back in the day, and they were like, we want to start doing, entertainment and music and do some more things. And I said, well, you have a full production company right here. Let's just do it together. Let's make a music video. Let's do a sketch, whatever, but let's do it at the highest level we can. I mean, you have, $100,000 worth of camera equipment just sitting there, and a dad who knows how to use everything. Let's just go for it.
As opposed to an iPhone.
Yeah. So, which was interesting. Veronica and Vanessa asked for their first camera back around 2004, 2005, somewhere in there, and they wanted a Barbie camera. Barbie came out with this little video camera, shot in black and white, and they thought that was the coolest thing. They're like, oh, we want this Barbie camera because it's pink and everything, and we want to edit our own videos. And I was like, well, no. Yes, I understand.
Yes, I understand. All right.
So on their birthday, I got them a Sony Mini DV camera, a pretty nice one. And I was like, if you're going to do it, let's do it right. So I gave it to them. They opened up the box, and they were so mad at me. They were so disappointed. They were like, we wanted the Barbie camera. And I was like, but you don't understand. This shoots, in 16 by 9 format because HD really wasn't affordable at that point. And, it does all of this great stuff. And they were like, no, we don't want it, And so, but they finally figured out that it was actually a really great camera. So, and they started shooting videos with their friends and editing on iMovie and things like that. So it was kind of fun.
Now, I did some research, and they joined YouTube in November of 2009.
Yes.
The first video is a February 2010 school talent show.
Yeah.
Did you shoot that video?
I did. I shot that and just put it out there. That was one of the first videos. And I honestly did that just to share it with friends and family, And I was kind of proud of them. Played a little rock band, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our first video. Is it still up?
It's still up.
Is it?
I watched it.
I'm so sorry. No, they actually didn't do too bad for seventh graders. I think they were in 7th grade. Played some great.
And then the next video is a December 2011 regional cheer competition.
Yes, the joys.
I confess, I only watched about 10 seconds.
I wouldn't watch it either. That was again one of those, because in the industry everyone's like, who's going to videotape? And they always would point to me. All the parents were like, oh, Paul, and so I would be the one.
But you also got the videotape too.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
And I bring that up because it appears that they had a very traditional upbringing.
They did. They really did. Traditional Midwest values. We just really emphasized family, and our community was really, really close. It's like a small town within the big city. Very tight knit community.
Were you on the Missouri side or
Missouri side? Yeah, definitely not Kansas.
No.
Not. There's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas. That's a whole other discussion. But traditional values.
And a digression a second, but your dog's name is
Tiger,
and it's named Tiger. Why?
Missouri Tigers.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So anyway, we always got beat by KU in basketball, and they're just a better team in basketball. But football, different story. Anyway, so just kind of grew up traditional Midwest values and family, and we did everything together. And my wife's from Mexico, and so her mom loved to cook on Sundays. So after church, we'd go over and have Sunday dinner, and just kind of just good old Midwestern family values. It was a lot of fun.
Growing up, well, first let's talk about you. Did you have an interest in film early on? I mean, how did you get into production?
Actually, I got into production. I was a musician. I'm still a musician. I won't say was. I was a musician, and I just loved writing songs and just the whole recording aspect of it. So I actually went to a local audio engineering school and got into audio engineering. And thought I was going to record bands for the rest of my life. That's what I wanted to do because that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And about that time, a friend of mine, they had a position open in their video duplication department. And I was like, sure. I wanted to get into the audio side of things with their company, but and they didn't have any openings at that point. They had a recording studio and all that. So I was like, I'll just get into the video production side, or the duplication side, and ended up. Long story short, they had editing suites there, and I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. And the audio side related to the video side as far as signal flow and how everything worked. And I was always interested in cameras and photography and stuff, but I just didn't think I would ever get an opportunity to do that. So I set in an edit suite where it was B-roll edits, tape editing and all of that. And then they got their first non-linear system, which was an Avid, which was a $150,000 computer system that you can now do on your phone. But it's nonetheless, I took to
crazy.
It. Yeah, I just understood it. I got it. And so all the guys that were in the traditional tape editing couldn't make the transition. So I actually learned it while I was not even hired to do the job. I took it upon myself to teach myself. And so it just progressed from there. I moved into a producer role, and then eventually was like, well, I'm going to go start my own company and kind of.
And then when your girls started to shoot videos, what role did you play in the editing?
None. I said, figure it out. I showed them how to plug the camera in, and I said, this is kind of the general side of it, but I'm like, you guys figure it out. Because like with guitar and bass, I said, you know the basics of piano and all that. You teach yourself. If you really want to do this, you need to have the passion, you need to have the drive to do it yourself. And so they would come ask me some questions and things like that, but I was very hands-off when it came to editing. And even when they got into school, they took a broadcasting journalism class, and they had to learn editing, and they did this little news program at school and all of that stuff. And I would help them, but I would say, this is your thing. You got to learn it for yourself, because if you want to be an editor, if you want to edit, you got to understand
know how to do it
yourself.
What about shooting the videos?
Shooting the videos.
Did you help them set up the scene? Did it talk about lighting?
We would talk about it after the fact, because I'm a big believer in analyzing things and looking back and saying what could you have done better, and I would show them my productions and then have them compare them to theirs and say this is what I do, this is what you do. Now how could you make it more like what I do? And think about your shots, think about your angles, and all of that stuff. And so then, as they got into broadcasting side in junior high and high school, I actually ended up becoming friends with the teachers, and they would have me come in and teach editing in their classes. So I would give some instructional things at times. So in that way, I kind of taught them. But I was very indirectly, yeah. So, but they watched a lot. They observed a lot too. So.
When they were little, what did they say they wanted to do when they grew up?
I think Vanessa wanted to be a nurse. Veronica wanted to be a meteorologist. Is what she wanted to do. And
when did that change to entertainment?
Actually, it was one of their teachers in, I want to say, 4th grade, Miss Howard, for a talent competition just for their local class. They had them come up and sing. And just sing a song for the class, and so Veronica and Vanessa sang,
which can be very intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, in 4th grade, I would never have done that. And so the teacher was like, "Wow, you guys are good." She took him she was like, "I'm going to take you. I want you to do this for our principal." So she took him to the principal's office. They sang for the principal.
And I was never taken to the principal's office just to sing.
Yeah, so they went and sang at the principal's office, and then she took them to several other classes and had them sing, and they really liked it. They enjoyed it. It was scary for them. They enjoyed it, and then as they began to develop that, they were like, "This is really fun. I really enjoy the connection that is between the audience and us." And I did a lot of performances, did a lot of school plays and things like that. So, but just to kind of bridge the gap of to how I kind of moved into like, hey, they really have something.
Yeah.
Because growing up in the industry, I'd worked with a lot of like parents and children, actors, and I would go, man, you don't get it. Your kid is not that talented. You're not. I mean, yes, they have talent and all that stuff, but you think they're just the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, I like to think of myself as a realist, and I have two sons. And the younger son I describe as an acquired taste. I love him, but he's an acquired taste.
Yeah, I get it. That's funny. So anyway, we were like, I was like, I don't want to be one of those dads or parents that like, unrealistic about my daughters and their abilities and all that stuff. So I started asking some of my friends, what do you really think? Like professionals, what do you really think of Veronica and us as musicians, as actresses, as, entertainers? What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, there's something there. And we went to this.
And about what age was that?
12, 13 years old. We went to a competition. They entered a modeling school, and they wanted to do some modeling and just they learned some etiquette and things like that. It was just good for their confidence, to help them build their confidence. And they were like, they should go to this acting, modeling, talent competition down in Florida. I can't even remember the name of it now. It was at the Gaylord resort there, and there was like 1,000 kids showed up. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go do this. And they entered all these little competitions, and I was like, let's go see what you got. Let's see what industry people say about you and your abilities. And they won almost every category they were in. And people were telling us they have it. Not just like, not people that are just paid to be there, but like actual agencies. And we got some callbacks to come out to California and visit with some people. And so it was at that point that we were like, okay, girls, there's something here. We're not crazy. We're not the crazy parents that are going to be
stage
like,
mom or dad.
Right, and I never want to be that. But I also want to be, at the place where I'm like, if there is something there, you want to help your kid develop and just go into that. If you're going to go for it, let's do this and let's help you get there. So.
And I know they're represented by an agent.
They are.
How long has that been in place?
Greg Goodfried, let's see, they've had a manager since we moved out here. It's through a friend that we met, a friend who connected us to some friends, connected us to the manager, and that's been in place for a long time. 3 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, Greg from UTA contacted us, and there's a lot of like in the Midwest, people have kind of a mentality about LA. And like, especially the entertainment industry, everyone's out to get you, and you're gonna turn your girls into, I won't mention names, but these actresses that have gone crazy, and all that. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I can see where you think that could happen, but in reality, good people find each other, and so we have a great manager, we have a great agent. So 2-3 years ago, we hooked up with Greg from UTA, and
and he's been a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, and Greg's a great guy, and I've told him that, and we love what he brings to the table. He's just really smart. And what's great about when good people find each other, Greg's never been like, okay, hey, girls, you need to change this, this, and this. You need to do this, this, and this, and this. Now, business strategy-wise, yeah, but like from a personality perspective, things like that, he's never said, change. You need to change everything about yourself. Just be who you are. That's what's great. Is just be yourself.
That's also the great equalizer of YouTube.
Yeah.
Because if you're not who you are, you can't carry it off very long.
Yeah, you really can't. It's a facade, and that's where like the girls have a live channel and they do live broadcasts, and so a lot of people that we've talked to who are influencers are like, I hate doing live broadcasts because I have to be on the whole time. And with Ronnie and Nessa, they're like, well, we're just
who we are.
We're who we are. We don't have to change anything, and that's what's great about them is they don't pretend to be anything that they're not, which is fun.
Now, they are identical twins?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you the dad test.
All right.
First, which one's your favorite?
Oh, yeah. That's an easy one. That is the dog, Tiger.
Yes, there you go. Okay, but if you were to describe each girl in 3 words, how would you describe them? Because they're identical physically, but they're different.
I've never been asked that question. That's a good question. I would say that Veronica is the more serious, inquisitive, and more of a risk taker behind the scenes. I know that's not one word, but more of a risk taker kind of behind the scenes. Vanessa's a risk taker more in like, I'll go do this. But she's creative. And they both have a real tender heart for people. So that's one word. I mean, I'm goofing it up.
No, that's okay.
I'm messing it up.
Part of it was to get you on this path.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're so different, but they're similar in so many ways. But I would say they balance each other out very well. Nessa tends to be more. I know what I want. I know what it should look like now. You know, this is what I want. This is how it is. And Daddy, do it my way. Mm-hmm. We just had this conversation actually this morning on the way here. You know, actually last night, I edited a video that I thought was really cool and hip and stylish, and she was like, "Nope, that's not what we want. You got to change it." And I'm like, "Oh, you know." So, but yeah, she definitely knows exactly what she wants on certain things. Veronica does too, but she's more of a writer. She writes things out and more of a planner, more detailed. She's more of a perfectionist. So she really thrives on the challenge of coming up with scripts and just thinking about comedy and the way comedy's delivered and how we can do things differently and better. And then she bounces that off of Vanessa, and Vanessa's like, yeah, I mean, they just make like the perfect team when it comes to that. So that's kind of it. And there's obviously they're both very, very detailed, very intricate people. Mm-hmm. But if I could sum it up, that would be the best way I could kind of describe them, I think.
And I want to talk about their YouTube channel in a second, but I want to first talk about yours.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. You joined in 2013, and you have 4 playlists. And my favorite, by far and away, is the Daily Dad Jokes series.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was watching some. The new one, What Kind of Pizza Do Dogs Eat?
Oh. My cousin Isaac, or the girl's cousin Isaac, just totally ruined that. I was so excited about that. I was like, he just ruined that one.
Just if you haven't seen it, it is?
Pepperoni.
Okay, there you go. So how did you come up with the idea of a Daily Dad Joke series?
The girls and I had been talking about, at some point, I want to do something. Because, I love to create content and, for them. And there are times when I'm like, man, let's do this. I have this idea. And they're like, that's not, you shouldn't do that, Dad. So we were actually in Indonesia, and we met these 2 guys there. They're called Skinny Indonesian 24. You should look them up. They're really fun guys. You won't understand everything because they speak in Indonesian, but they speak English, and we just connected. They're just Andovi and Joe. They're brothers, and their girls were doing a video with them. So Andovi thought he was funnier than me and could tell better dad jokes than me. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. Here's what happens. When you become a dad, it's like the universe just says, here, I bestow upon you dad jokes. And that's the way it works. You just get them. And so he was trying to out dad joke.
As bad as they are.
He was trying to out dad joke me, and I took him to school. And so we shot a collab with them, and then afterwards we were still, he was still lamenting about his defeat. And if you're listening to Andovi, haha, sorry. And he came up with a brilliant idea. He goes, you know what you should do? I got it. You should tell one dad joke every day, just one. And he said, how easy would it be? It's just one dad joke. Just do it. And so I thought about it, and I told the girls and my wife, who is very, very behind the scenes, Wendy's behind the scenes, I said, look, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to tell one dad joke every day and just see if I can do it. Just see if it's funny. Because I can't do anything else really. I don't want to be perceived as like I want to
ride on the coattails
of my daughters. But if there was anything I could do is that they can't do is I'm a dad, and I'll always be a dad, and I tell really bad dad jokes all the time anyway. So why not just put it on camera? So that's kind of where it came from, and I think we're at dad joke 31, 32?
32, I think.
32.
The magic of it is the girls' reaction.
Oh yeah, it's so funny, and they do
because it's I'm seeing in their faces, my sons, when I tell them jokes, it's like, Dad, Stop it.
Just stop, please stop it. Yeah, and I get that all the time, but I've gotten that all my life, and you have too. Then you know exactly.
And your very first one was your dad's favorite joke.
Yeah, my dad's favorite joke was always, whenever I'd say, hey Dad, I'm hungry, he'd go, hi hungry, nice to meet you. And he just did it all the time. And I actually posted it. My dad passed away, but I posted it on his birthday. October 11th was his birthday. So that's when I actually started the Dad Joke channel in honor of dads everywhere who, unfortunately, are gifted with very bad jokes.
Yes, because your jokes suck.
They suck big time.
And that's number 2.
That's
look
number
that
2.
Up. Then you also have another playlist, which is your favorites playlist, and there's only one video that's there.
What is it?
It is Beautiful Disaster.
Oh, yeah. That was the first, it was the second really big production we did.
Tell me about that.
Our production company was housed in the same location with a company called Show Me Audio Visual. And they would do all the event side, like they would provide all the lights and all the equipment to do these big events. And I called in all my favors, said, hey, I'm doing a music video with my daughters. I recorded it. That's me playing guitar and bass and everything on there. And we just went for it and brought everyone in and just had an absolute blast doing it. And to all my friends that helped, thank you, But we basically pulled that off for very little money. And it was just a lot of fun. And Veronica and Vanessa were really encouraged by it. It didn't do... it was one of our first big videos. It didn't do that well. It's done better since they...
When people go back and look
at it. When people
go
watch it and stuff. But I think if the girls would go back and watch it now, which would be really interesting, we haven't seen it in a while, I'd be interested to know what they
Who wrote the song?
A guy named Greg Nicholson. And he's a good friend of ours. And he was in the 80s. He was a songwriter and traveled and toured everywhere. And he said to me, he goes, hey, I got this song. What do you think of it? And so I let the girls listen to it, and it was very, very much 80s rock, and we took it and transformed it. It really didn't change much, but we transformed it into something that the girls really liked, put it in the right key, and just went for it. So, yeah, it's important to have people around you that, can provide resources like that, work with some songwriters here and there and things like that. Because you end up learning a lot by collaborating with people not in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well, and behind the production process as well. So, yeah.
And you had your first collab on your daily Dad Joke, too.
I did. It was a great collab. And unfortunately, he was just terrible. He didn't have a lot of subscribers. I didn't gain many subscribers, but, it's fine.
just to make it clear, you collabed with yourself.
I collabed with myself. I tried to do some really fun green screen. I thought it would look a lot better than what it was, but oh well.
It made me laugh, so...
Well, I'm glad I made someone laugh.
There you go. You also have one, but it appears several times in the videos, where you jump out and try to scare your girls.
Yes.
What is the word you use?
A bugasaki.
What is that? Where did you get that?
I have no idea. I've been doing that since they were little, like way before even YouTube was around. I would just jump up to them, or we would just be sitting there, and I would just poke them and go, bugasaki! Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but... It's my word. It's just how I scare them. It works.
Well, I don't think it works anymore.
No, it doesn't. I have to be really on my game to get them now. In fact, I got Veronica. Vanessa was like, "Are you serious?" And even Isaac was like, "What?" I wasn't even close. But It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So
I want to talk about your daughter's videos.
Yep.
What role do you play? Now, as opposed to when they first started.
In my mind, it evolved. At first, I was like, I'm a producer, but I'm an editor, I'm a shooter, and I also, help them write and create. And so now, when we talk about it, the girls joke around and say, I'm the third Merrell twin, which is kind of true, but not really. I'm not their twin, but behind the scenes and all of this stuff I do, I'm kind of like their third person. It's more of an executive producer role. Because it evolved from, just uploading videos and going through all the analytics and the tags and making sure titles and thumbnails and all that stuff.
All the details.
All the details. That's all on me. It's everything behind the scenes is on me. So
is it still on you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think that's going to change. Because it's really hard to get someone that really understands the nuances of all that we've learned over the last 6 years of uploading. And we've only been uploading it's been 5 years every Tuesday.
Now, how did you pick Tuesday?
Twin Tuesday.
Okay.
We're like, it just goes together. Twin Thursday doesn't work. And then
Twin Tuesday or
Twin Tuesday just seemed to work. So we were like,
Twin Monday doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the same, doesn't flow. So we picked Tuesday and said, let's just commit to it. And years ago, I would produce weekly shows actually for a company that had a satellite network, and they would broadcast to their affiliates all over. It wasn't anything that anybody could see, but it was via Dish Network and all of that. So we had to, have a plan and network, understand, what our production process was and how we were going to distribute everything. And so I just applied all of that to the YouTube channel. And the girls, were like, oh, it's not a big deal if we miss a Tuesday at first. I was like, yeah, it is. Let's just not miss a Tuesday. Let's just see what consistency does for us. Let's produce our videos at the highest quality we can, but also deliver every Tuesday. And the results just started to happen.
Was there a big moment where you saw a huge jump, or has it just been a steady increase?
It's been really steady, and honestly, that's probably my proudest thing is that it's been steady. We get anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers a day. Which that's phenomenal, and it's stayed that way for the last 3 years, just continual growth. Now we'll get bumps when we do collabs and things like that, but there's a lot of their friends that will just go whoa, and then just it plateaus, and then that's it. But for us, we just kind of keep climbing, keep going and keep going. So there's never been really like that breakout video where it's just gone viral and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest video you've ever seen. And that's not really been our intent. Our intent is to, number one, entertain ourselves and have fun doing it. Because it's a fun job. I've always had the funnest job in the world, but even now it's way more fun. So we create content we want to make. And there are some things that we've done that we've gone, that isn't our best, but we really like just creating the things we want to create.
What's your favorite one so far?
Honestly, it was this last video. It's been there's been two. Two of my favorites was it's Valentine's Day, the song, and then this last one, which was if food babies were real. Because
where did that? I watched that.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from?
Honestly, we were kind of experiencing a little bit of a lull in our creative process, and we sat down and started watching some videos, and I feel really bad. I can't remember the channel's name that we came across, and their production value was the same as ours. Their humor was the same as ours, but they did it in a different way, and it just gave us a fresh perspective, to be able to come back and say, what could we do applying their techniques that they've done? What could we do to bring something to life? And I think Vanessa was like, food babies are a big thing. And we're like, what if we make a food baby come to life? What if you were having a food baby? And it just kind of snowballed from there. So that's been my favorite within the last, year or so, because it really felt like we turned a different corner creatively. And I felt like the production value was really, really high on that, as high as we could make it. And then it's Valentine's Day literally happened 3 days before Valentine's. It's a music video. I think it's close to 10 million views, I think. But we were sitting around and going, Valentine's Day is going to hit on Tuesday. What are we going to do? And they're like, let's write a song. And we literally sat down, all three of us at the table with a ukulele, and we just wrote it out. And then we recorded it that day, shot it the next day, edited it the next day, and posted it the next. So within 4 days, we delivered a show, a song, a music video that has just gone crazy. Every Valentine's. It's just that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And but it's all of them are kind of my favorite because you're working with your daughters and stuff.
Right.
So that's
how is it to work with your daughters?
It's great. It's great. I've had to learn to listen to my daughter's
Take your
creativity.
dad hat off.
Yeah. Take my dad hat off and go into more of, like I said, that executive producer role and go, I'm not trying to impose my will and my creative will upon them. I need to be able to listen to them and help bring out their creativity and help, but also say, this is how we do it. This is how we get it done. If you want to do X, Y, and Z, this is the process it's going to take to make it happen. Yeah. And really learn to let them lead. Like when you're listening to your 16-year-old telling a guy in the industry that's been in the industry for 20 years at that point, that's not the way you edit a video. This is the way we should do it. Because YouTube fundamentally changed the way people edit in from traditional editing, right. All the jump cuts, all the things that just go on that just made me cringe at first. But to be able to listen to that and go and say to them, you're right. You're right. I did need to change that. And so, that's been a learning process for me to just step back and say, you know what, my daughters know something. They know they're professionals. I need to listen to them. I need to treat them as professionals. And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned from them.
What has surprised you about the process?
What surprised me about the process? It hasn't surprised me that it's fun, because it is fun. I have to think about that for a second, because I think what's been so surprising about the process has been the bond that we've developed. I've always wanted to be really close with my daughters and stuff, but just to be able to be like, this is something we've done together. I was telling them the other day that I always wanted to build a car with my dad, and we never got to do that because we didn't have the money and all of that stuff. Yeah. I was like, I look at our YouTube channels, our channels as like, we're building this car together. It's something we get to do together that, it's a very, very rare thing.
And you're teaching them about business.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most surprising part, just now that you said that, I think the most surprising part for me has been that those moments, those teaching moments where I've been able to say to them, especially when they're a lot younger, when they're 16, we'd walk out of meetings and they would say, I would look at them and I go, do you know what they said? Do you know what this all means, right? And they would go, no, I don't know what that means. And so I would explain to them and teach them the vernacular, teach them the ways that people speak and the nuances of business and what people are trying to really, really accomplish. And understand the process and understand how meetings work and just all those nuances of business, and to help them develop as young businesswomen, and then to let them lead inside of that. I think that's been the most surprising thing, is that I've been able to really help mentor that side of it, and then to let go, and now to let go and be like, you guys are do your own thing. I mean, they've sat in meetings with CEOs of major brands and just held their own, and people, their manager will say, oh my gosh, you would not believe how many people just love your daughters. They came out of that meeting and just absolutely love what's going on and who they are, and just they impressed them just like crazy. I'm like, I did that. I helped with that. Yeah. I helped them grow into that. It's really been, that's the most surprising thing.
Where do you see it going from here?
It's interesting. Initially, the girls would love to have their own TV show. I know that's what they really, really want. But the industry is changing so fast. Audiences are going in so many different directions, and we have the viewers that come. We're getting just as many views as some networks on TV are. So,
I mean, in many ways, you have your own TV show,
right? And that's the way we look at it. So, I think going forward from here, we're really wanting to do more series. The girls want to do a movie. In fact, they're shooting a movie right now. I don't think I'm allowed to say who it's with, but it's really, really cool. It's just a really small role, but they're doing that. But future-wise, I just see a lot more higher-end production and creativity. We're building a bigger team around us to help support, because across 3 channels, it gets just really, really tiresome for all of us. Not the actual executing like a live show or something like that, but all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, working with brands or doing pre-production stuff. Just getting things together, helping with scripts, all of that. We're we've hired
the details. It is
right.
a TV show,
right?
That are a TV show.
Yeah, because you can't do it alone. You can only do it so long at a certain level. If you want to go to the next level, then you have to do that. But future-wise, long-term, and this is our long-term goal is to walk away with this, because at some point it'll be done. At some point, I hope not, but at some point, Veronica and Vanessa will be like, okay, what's next? What do I want to do in the future? And for now, they've said that they would love to have a production company and be able to produce content and write and be behind the scenes too, not just in front of the camera, but behind the scenes too. So that's what we've built. That's what's in place. We haven't done that. We haven't been reaching out to people to say, hey, we're going to produce content for you, for other clients, but we will eventually. That's kind of the long-term goal at this point. So,
because I know for many influencers that is the struggle, is the team around them that they don't have.
Right. Yeah. And so Veronica and Vanessa have been very lucky to have a father that can do all the behind the scenes stuff. Because a lot of their friends are like, I've been up since 1 o'clock editing videos, and I'm still not done, or I had something fail, or I didn't get audio on my shot or whatever. Now we've had it happen once or twice, but never as frequently as so many people. But they don't have to deal with a lot of that. But yeah, building a team is important at this point.
Tell me, shifting gears just a little bit, tell me about the first time someone recognized your daughters in public. How was that for you?
I'm trying to think when that was. What's weird is Veronica and Vanessa, even before they were influencers and had some notoriety, they would get attention.
Because they're identical twins.
Because they're identical twins. So to have someone come up and say, "Oh my gosh, I watch your YouTube videos. Yeah, that part of it's cool," and that was it was like, okay, yeah, you guys are making it. And that's part of the whole process. So there's a certain satisfaction in someone recognizing you. But we were really kind of used to it. Just they were really kind of used to just getting like attention. Now it's gotten. I was walking the dog the other day, and someone stopped me, and a little girl stopped me and said, "Hey, can I take your picture with you and Tiger?" And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. You really want to take a picture with me and their dad?" And like, "Well, Veronica and Vanessa aren't here, so you're like going to have to do." I'm like, "Oh, great." So yeah, it's that part of it. Me getting recognized was weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because I just never expected that. But part of the reason why, and one of the reasons why I'm in the videos and I'm around is because they're having daughters. There are a lot of weird people out there. And, we knew when we started it that there was going to be safety concerns.
Well, tell me about that.
With the girls.
Tell me about
that. And I just kind of transitioning into that. I was like, you know what? If I'm on a few videos, so be it. And if I'm in a couple of your vlogs, so be it. People see me in some of the background pictures, and I have a presence online.
They know there's a dad around.
They know that at some point, if they're going to do something to you, they're going to have to deal with me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be around. And I can't be around all the time, but they'll question whether I'm there or not. So that was my mentality in just being around. It's like, yeah, you need to know who I am, because as a father, you'll do anything for your kids, especially keep them safe. And so that's been a big factor in me being around. It's just like, hey, I'm here. Don't mess with my daughters. I might be a little dude, but tough enough. Protect my daughters. So anyway.
And how do you feel about them living their lives so publicly? There's an aspect to it that's really,
you hear celebrities talk about, it's just, so hard, being in the public eye and all of that stuff. There's a certain element that when I think about it, I go, you really have to think about where you're going. You girls have to think about where you're going. Like, we went on vacation and we went to Hawaii, and Wendy was like, let's just, we can just hop in the public transportation and go wherever. I was like, no, we can't do that. We have to think about the girls' safety, so that's changed the dynamic. And so to think about that and go, Yeah, there's a trade-off, and that's the unfortunate side of it. But at the same time, it's also the really cool side too.
Right.
It's not bad, or it's not.
It's just different.
It's just different. So.
What advice would you give to somebody that wants to start doing YouTube videos?
What advice would I give? In terms of a philosophical perspective, I would absolutely 100% be yourself, love the content you want to create. If you don't like it, you're eventually going to hate it. You got to love it. The second thing I would say is, if you're going to do it, be crazy consistent. Just be super consistent. Pick a day, pick a schedule it. I know people will talk to me about that, and it sounds crazy, but I'm a huge podcast consumer. Right.
And if my podcast doesn't hit on the day it's supposed to hit,
yeah.
What happened to them?
People freak out.
Yeah.
People freak out. We recently did a premiere, because YouTube has these new premieres and all that stuff, and so we normally post around 9 o'clock on Tuesday mornings, and we were like, okay, we're gonna post this premiere at 4 o'clock, because so everyone's out of school and all that stuff, and it was like, where's our video? But as long as you communicate it, it's fine. But consistency is the key, and being yourself and just doing what you love. Creating content you really love.
So how can people find you?
Me?
If they wanted to do business with your daughters.
Merrell Twins at merrelltwins.com. They can just email, contact. My wife just quit work. She's handling all of the details, with email and all that stuff. She was a school administrator, so she really, really understands the organization side. So I will say that's been our biggest change, has been having her around. It's been like all of a sudden we're organized, because we're creatives. I'm a creative, and I'm not super organized about life and things like that, but she's really, really helped us with that. So, yeah, Merrell Twins at merrelltwins.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter.
For your daily dad joke.
For a really bad dad joke. So, yeah.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, too.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.